Number 6 from the 2022 8th grade math STAAR test. A cylinder has a height of 5 feet and a diameter of 2 feet. Which measurement is closest to the volume of the cylinder in cubic feet? So if I check my STAAR reference sheet, I should know that the volume of a cylinder is equal to capital B times H, which is equal to the area of the base times height. So I'm going to draw a cylinder, and in this case my base is a circle, so I'm going to shade that in. And they tell us that the height is 5 and the diameter is 2. So in order to find the area of the base of the circle, I'm going to have to multiply pi times radius squared. So we have a diameter of 2, and you should know that the radius is going to be half of that, so the radius is just 1. So if I multiply pi times 1 squared, I'm just going to get 3.14, which is pi, so that's the area of the base. And then if I plug that into my formula for the cylinder, I'm going to multiply by the height now, so 3.14 times 5, and I should get an answer of 15.7, which is letter G. Number 7 from the 2022 8th grade math STAAR test. A list of numbers ordered from least value to greatest value is shown. One number is missing. Which number could be the missing number? So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that I have everything in decimal form. That way it's really easy to compare it. So the first one, 18 over 5, that's the same thing as 18 divided by 5, and that's equal to 3.6. 3.71 is already in decimal form. And then my last one, the square root of 17, that's going to be equal to 4.12. Again, just use your calculator for this. And so now I can go through my answer choices and just see which one is going to fit in that missing spot. So letter A, 4.5, that is not going to fit in between because it is greater than 4.12. Letter B is 3.8%, and if we change that to a decimal, that's going to be equal to 0.038. And obviously that is much smaller than any of the numbers we're talking about, so that's not going to work. Letter C is 57 over 15, or 57 divided by 15, and that's going to be equal to 3.8, which fits perfectly, so my correct answer is letter C. Number 8 from the 2022 8th grade math STAAR test. A rectangle is graphed on a coordinate grid. Which transformation will result in a rectangle that is not congruent to the original rectangle? So in other words, we need a transformation that's going to give us something that's not the same size and not the same shape. So let's go through the answer choices and see which one is not congruent. Letter F, a dilation by a scale factor of 3. So a dilation is going to make our shape bigger or smaller, in this case bigger. So obviously that is not the same size and that would not be congruent. So I'm going to put a check mark because that's probably going to be it. Letter G is a rotation of 180 degrees counterclockwise. A rotation is just going to turn the shape. It's not actually going to change the size or the shape. So it's not going to be letter G. Letter H is a translation 90 units to the right. Again, a translation is just going to move the shape over. It's not going to change the shape or the size. So it's not letter H. And then letter J is a reflection across the x-axis, which is just going to give you a mirror image, but the size and the shape are still the same. So the correct answer is going to be letter F. Number 9 from the 2022 8th grade math STAAR test. There are a total of 463,100 books in a library. What is the value of the exponent when this number is written in scientific notation? So I'm going to write out my number, 463,100, and to change it to scientific notation, I'm going to move my decimal. Okay, so obviously there's not a decimal written on this number, but for any whole number like this, we know that the decimal is going to go at the end. So I'm going to put it right next to that 0, and now I need to move it to the left until I'm next to that 4. So I'm going to move it to the left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And so my new number in scientific notation is going to be 4.631 times 10 to the 5th power. Now, they just want to know the exponent, so my answer is going to be 5. Number 10 from the 2022 8th grade math STAAR test. Monica wants to open a savings account with a deposit of $3,000. Monica will not make any additional deposits or withdrawals after she opens the account. Her bank offers 2 different savings accounts. Account X pays 2.1% simple annual interest, and account Y pays 2.4% interest compounded annually. Which statement about these accounts at the end of 5 years is true? So if I look at the answer choices, I see that they're all talking about just the interest between the 2 accounts, like what the difference is. So I'm going to find the interest for the first account and the second account, and I'm going to find the difference between those 2. So account X is simple interest, And the formula for that is I equals PRT. So I'm gonna plug in everything I know. So my principal is 3,000. My interest rate is 2.1%, which we need to change that to a decimal. So it's gonna be 0.021. And then my time in years is 5 years. And once I multiply those three numbers together, I should get $315. And because we're talking about simple interest, that already tells me just the interest. And so I'm done with account X. Account Y is compound interest. And the formula for that is A equals P times parentheses 1 plus R raised to the power of T. So I'm gonna start with 3,000 again. And then in parentheses, I'm gonna have 1 plus 2.4% changed to a decimal is 0.024, and then raised to the power of 5. Once I put that into my calculator, I should get 3,377.70 cents. Now, because this is compound interest, that's my total account value. So to find the interest that I earned, I have to subtract my original starting amount of 3,000. So after I do that, I should get 377.70 cents. And that is just my interest for account Y. So obviously account Y earned more interest. And so now to find the exact amount, I'm going to subtract 377.7 minus 315. And once I do that, I should get 62.70 or $62.70. So looking at the answer choices, I should have one that says account Y is earning $62.70 more than account X, and that is going to be letter G.